Welcome to Marketing Step by Step, Session 17, the Marketing Design Workshop. It's important when designing your marketing pieces that you design for instant trust and instant visual understanding. The purpose of great design is not to call attention to itself. In other words, not to call attention to the design. The purpose of great design is to create trust, to amplify the message, and to create visual understanding. Okay? Instant visual understanding. So what do I mean when I say to design for instant trust and instant visual understanding? Well, take a look at the frame that you're looking at right now. When you look at this, I know this is kind of a weird question to ask, but when you look at this, do you trust what I'm saying just based on the look of the slide? Right? Now, I think most people would say, yes, this looks like it's organized in a way that's professional, simple, easy to understand. Looks like it was organized by someone who kind of knows what they're doing. Now, honestly, there isn't much that's very fancy going on in this design, okay? There's a little bit of graphics and, maybe a little shadow underneath it and so forth. But this really isn't, it's not something that you couldn't do or you couldn't have done very quickly and cheaply. But the thing is that it looks sharp and it looks professional and it looks coordinated. The next question. Do you understand this visually when you look at it? Okay, another kind of weird question. And I would say that most people who look at this do understand it visually, meaning that they know where to look first, they know where to look next, and they know where to look next. So why is this? It's because it's got a big, bold, colorful headline at the top. Then it's got bullet points down below. So I look at the top line, then I look at the first bullet, and I look at the second bullet. It's intuitive. You can't screw this up when you look at it. Okay, the dominant element up at the top, we usually start at the top, is weighted about kind of twice as heavy, quote unquote, visually as the bullets. It's colorful, so your eye is just instantly drawn to it. Okay, and then, of course, we've got the bullet points that call our attention down. It's instantly trustable and instantly visually understandable. This is key when designing any marketing. Start with a dominant visual element and then use a visual hierarchy. Eyes are pulled to the dominant visual element, so make the most important thing in your design the biggest thing. Make your second most important element half as big as your dominant element. Follow this logic throughout your design. And I'll show you examples of this in some of the samples. But for now, you remember what I said? Kind of in this design, the dominant visual element is the headline. It's the title. And then the secondary elements are the bullets. And if you just kind of defocus your eyes, you'll notice that this big, bold, bright headline is kind of twice as heavy as the bullets are. When you use a visual hierarchy, when you make your most important thing the biggest and you put it at the top, and then you put the second most important thing maybe about half that size, and you put it second, and the third most important thing underneath that and smaller, it makes it easy to figure out what to do, figure out where to look first. Okay, now this sounds like it might be very, kind of beginner, very basic, but almost no one does this with their designs. Work with the physics of what's called reading gravity. Okay, and this is a mental physics. We are trained to read in the Western world left to right and top to bottom. The eye naturally starts in the upper left and moves to the lower right. So don't ask the eye to go against reading gravity. Don't design a website that you want them to look down at the bottom first. Don't take the dominant visual element and put it underneath something that's smaller, right? Because then you're going to ask someone to look at the big thing down at the bottom and then look at the smaller thing up at the top. For example, if you have a big bold headline and then some copy, you wouldn't want to put the copy and then the big bold headline down at the bottom. If you have a large video on your page and you have a headline that's maybe half the size of the video, you don't want to put the headline over the video in most cases. You want to have the dominant element be the video, have it at the top, and then put the headline underneath the video. And if you do want them to read your headline first, you're going to want to make your headline really big and bold. And then you might even want to put the video player down the page so they have to scroll down to see it, etc., because the eye will not follow something that doesn't follow reading gravity. Okay, so work with reading gravity. Another one, keep designs super simple. Super simple. Complex designs confuse, so avoid them. In your design, use no more than 1 or 2 fonts, font sizes, alignments, colors, etc. And keep it very, very simple. Great designers create simple, intuitive designs with very few elements. I love looking at Apple's design. I always go to their website and just kind of study what they do because they're always creating beautiful, simple designs with 1, sometimes 2 fonts, maybe 1 or 2 font sizes, 1 or 2 alignments, oftentimes no colors. It's just black and white, but it's beautiful and professional. Notice again these slides that you're looking at. Okay, they're very, very simple. What you're looking at is 2 fonts, basically looking at 2 font colors. We've got 1 main alignment that's kind of this left alignment. Looks very simple, very professional. It's also a lot easier to make really good-looking designs than it is to make ugly ones. Most people, they want to emphasize something. They press the underline and the italics and the center and all the different buttons on their word processor. You don't need to do that. Okay? A nice left alignment with simple fonts, nice contrast works very well. Use a large, bold, clear headline to call attention to your message. When working with print, broadcast your key message with a big, bold headline. For added effect, put your headline in quotes. It increases readership. Again, use emotional power words for maximum impact. And now, let's do an ad clinic. Okay? Designing marketing that works. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a bunch of examples of advertising designs, starting with kind of more, let's just call it primitive advertising that was done in print, and then moving into internet-style advertising designs. Now this is obviously static here. We're just looking at flat designs, so we're going to be looking mostly at printed and written designs. I'll give you some tips here for creating video designs and so forth later on. But for now, let's take a look at some ads. Now here is a newspaper article. Okay, you might be saying, oh, what's that newspaper article written in some strange language doing here? I thought we were talking about ads. I deliberately put this here. Most of us don't speak probably Spanish, which I think this is, so we can't read it. And that's good because we can't get distracted by what it says. We can't get distracted by the content. But what we can see is that there's a layout here that follows some principles. There's a big headline. There are columns of text. There are indents of the text. It is done in a way where you can't really screw this up. Okay, you start at the top and you kind of come down. There's that big giant picture there. If I were to design this, the only change that I would make is I'd put the picture up on top because it's the dominant visual element. It's that big, bold element that I'd like to have at the top. And then I would put the headline underneath it and keep all the copy under it. So I would just shift the picture, over to the left and then up one so it's in the upper left. And then I'd rearrange everything to still fit on the page. But again, just that one tweak there to make it even better. Now, this is great design. Okay, this is great design because, again, you can't screw it up. It's intuitive. Is it fancy, beautiful design? Well, no, you're not going to win any art awards for this. But when in doubt, this is a much better design than most ad designs. Here's another article, okay, just out of a random magazine, okay, that shows a typical editorial style article. Let me ask you this question. Do you trust this layout? Okay, I know it's a weird question, but do you trust the layout? Most people would say yes. They get a feeling of trust from this, like it's going to offer them value, not going to take something away from them. A good typical editorial style layout in a magazine would do that. It gives you that feeling of, oh, this is professional. This is something editorial. This is going to offer me value. Here's another article, another magazine article layout, something very typical. And just notice how you feel when you look at this. Do you trust it? Does it feel like it's going to offer you value and information, or does it feel like it's going to take something away from you? Okay, this is also a beautiful design, very well designed. Now, again, you're not going to win any awards for this, but as far as design goes, this is great, and we could all learn a lot by studying designs like this one. Now, this is a classic design here, and this is where we start to bridge the gap. This is an ad written by David Ogilvy, and it's called How to Create Advertising That Sells. Now, when you first look at this, you won't realize that it's an ad because it looks just like a newspaper article. Okay, big, bold headline, 4 columns of copy, numbered little paragraphs down there. It doesn't feel like it's something that's going to sell you. So you look at it, you go, oh, how to create advertising that sells. I want to learn that. So you start reading it. Defenses go down. There's all kinds of great information in this. It's just jam-packed with great marketing tips. And it's moving the free line. Then at the end, it says, hey, if you want more of this good stuff for your business, give us a call. So this is a kind of a great example of how editorial design was used very successfully to sell. And notice that you get the same feeling when you look at it of, oh, this is informational, this is going to help me, that you got from the editorials. Now, how about this? When you first look at this, how do you feel? Does it look like something that's going to take or something that's going to offer you value? Right? Well, it looks a lot like something that would, be a magazine article. But if you look up at the top, it says advertorial. Okay, this is actually an advertisement, a very nicely designed one. Now, that lower right corner there where they've got the red and the kind of the different alignments there and the centered text, see, this doesn't fit with the rest of the page, and it kind of makes it all a little bit weird. Okay, so you can see right there is a little bit of a record scratch, but still a pretty good design. All right, now how about this? When you see this is a car advertisement. When you see this one, how do you feel? Do you feel like this is something that's going to offer you value and teach you something, give you the solution you need, or does this look like an ad? Right? Most people would say that looks like an ad because most ads do look like ads, and we recognize them instantly and unconsciously all day long. This was just a random ad that I saw on the internet. Now, how about this ad? Okay, that doesn't look at all like an ad. At 60 miles an hour, the loudest noise in this new Rolls-Royce comes from the electric clock, another David Ogilvy classic. So how do you feel when you see this? Does this look like it's going to take something from you, or does it look interesting, like it's going to offer you information? This looks like an article about the Rolls-Royce, which, in effect, it is. Okay, totally different feeling, different response. Okay, here's a page that was designed by my friend Alex Mondosian. I don't remember where I picked this one up, but it's a really interesting example by a smart direct marketer of a nice design. Okay, so you notice up in the upper left, it's got him standing there holding these play buttons, and it says click to listen to Alex, and you can just click the play button. And then right next to him, it says, if you're an entrepreneur, independent professional, or small business owner, I encourage you to find out why my teleseminar secrets training is absolutely the fastest, easiest, and most economical way to. And then he's got a whole list of bullet benefits, right? And then he's got phone number and directions to action. Okay, now, this is a really nice design. Okay, it's a really good marketing design because you know where to look first, you know where to go. It pulls you in. It's really interesting while it's selling. Here's another website from Ryan Deiss. Okay, this is another really just super high power marketer. 43 sneaky little tricks proven to instantly increase your sales. After spending over $1 million on 321 different split tests, this master marketer reveals the 43 tests that always increased sales time and time again across multiple markets. And there's a little quiz. Can you pick the background color that instantly converts 31% more sales? Bet it's not the one you're thinking. Okay, now this is good marketing. Okay, this is really good marketing design because big bold headline at the top in red, you know exactly where to go. Subheadline pulls you in. Then there's a letter coming from Ryan. Here's one of my designs. Okay, a simple opt-in page. Okay, we're kind of famous for creating these opt-in landing pages. We were using them kind of widely before anyone else, and now they've become very popular around the internet. This is a modern version that has a video on it. So notice when you look at this, big video, okay, so really large up at the top. Next, bold headline, enter your name and email below to watch the free training video now. The video, of course, talks about the free training video that you get when you come inside. And then copy, just enter your first name and valid email below. Then click the button that says show me the free video and you'll be automatically taken to the video. Then keep your eye on your email because I'll also be sending you more valuable free video trainings very soon. First name, email, and then a button that says show me the free video. Now, we could actually do a whole marketing course just based on this one piece alone because there's so much going on here. It looks so simple. Okay, it just looks so simple. How could someone have planned all of the different elements in here? Well, if you saw the rest of the marketing sequence that went with it and the emails that were sent and so forth, you'd realize that there is a lot going on. And just from going through this course and then looking at some of the details I pointed out, you can see that there's a lot happening here. Notice the nice left alignment where the edge of the headline, the copy, and the video are all aligned to the left. Notice the quotes around the headline. Notice the dominant visual element, the secondary element, and then the next visual elements all nicely coming down the page. Notice the specific direction to action. Okay, listen to how I say this. Just enter your first name and valid email below, then click the button that says show me the free video, and you'll be automatically taken to the video. Then keep your eye on your email because I'll also be sending you more valuable free video trainings very soon. Then a place for the first name in the email and a button. When they click it, the button actually says, show me the free video. Okay, it's all there, direction to action. Works very, very, very well for us. And it's super simple. Here's another marketing piece that we use. This is a great business quiz that we have. Take this free 10-question business quiz to find out how well your business stacks up when it comes to marketing, hiring, growth, and making big profits. Answer these 10 questions and I'll send you a free 5-page analysis with valuable tips for growing your business. Now look at the design here. Again, pay attention to the design. Bold headline, quotes. Okay, then you come down the page. It's very obvious where to go. It's visually interesting. It's lined up along the left very well. It's actually a little tweaked on the alignment. There are kind of two alignments, but there's basically a left alignment from the edge of the quote mark down to the edge of the subhead down to the edge of the numbers. So there's the feeling of a professional alignment, and then everything else is aligned nicely. So we basically have a simple page, impossible to screw up visually. Here's an older design that I used on Double Your Dating to sell my ebook. In this case, what I did is I centered headlines and subheadlines, and then I left aligned everything else, which can also look good. Remember I said you can use 1 or 2 alignments. Sometimes centering headlines and subheadlines calls attention to them. Here's how to meet and date the kind of women you've always wanted. I'll show you the exact steps in specific directions to help you be more successful with women in dating. So notice the big dominant visual element at the top. It's kind of twice as heavy visually as the subhead, and then that's kind of twice as heavy as the copy. Start at the top and then come down. Again, you can't screw this one up. It's just too intuitive. It's too easy to understand. Now, I just taken some of our submissions that some of our members and our guests have sent in, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a little bit of a marketing critique, or sometimes I call these marketing demolitions, because sometimes it's a little more critique than comment. Okay, here's a website. So let me ask you, when you look at this, do you feel trust? Okay, do you feel like this was designed professionally, like this is something that you can trust, like it's going to give you information? Or does this look like it was kind of thrown together, like it might be there to take something from you? What about the message on it? Okay, so one thing that works is up at the top we've got the dominant visual element, and then we kind of had a headline that's down below and then some copy. So the flow works. But also notice that there are many different elements that don't seem to be related to each other. Okay, so for instance, the buttons on the nav menu, the title up at the top, the little subtitle that says Calm Centered Business Acceleration, these aren't related to each other in alignment. The copy underneath the headline there all seems to be organized and related to itself, but then when you come over to the right, for the opt-in box, there are all different types of fonts and sizes and colors and alignments going on, and it's just kind of this confusing jumble. Also, there are many different colors that are being used here, and weird kinds of contrast that a professional designer wouldn't use. In other words, there are kind of too many things going on. So I would take this, I would simplify it, and instead of having that title up there that says The Entrepreneur's Yogi, which is unclear and kind of ambiguous, I'd get my headline up there so that it says, what if you had a little-known advantage that would catapult you to the top as decision-making expert, one who possessed the confidence and courage to move ahead boldly on critical issues? That is way more interesting to a potential prospect than a wave and the entrepreneur's yogi. How about this page? Most budding entrepreneurs fail within the first 2 years of business, while those who survive struggle to break even later on. Okay, so there are some things that are going on that work on this page, and there are some things that are a little shaky. Headline, nice big bold headline. Okay, the eye gets pulled there. But what about this kind of banner at the top that says business mindset? Skyrocket your business by developing the proper mindset. And we've got this blue color. It's a color and a style that doesn't seem to be related to everything else on the page, and you don't know where to go first. Okay, your eye doesn't know whether to go to that top banner because it's at the top or to this headline. Also, marketing-wise, when I read most budding entrepreneurs fail within the first 2 years of business, while those who survive struggle to break even later on, I don't have a promise of something I'm going to learn here. That isn't telling me that I'm going to get some benefit. It doesn't say that you're going to teach me how to avoid that or how to solve it. It just kind of gives a statement of fact. If it talked about how to avoid failing or how to make more money or how to advertise better or tips for growing my business, well, that might make a little bit more sense. But here, it's just a statement of fact, and it's not something that's going to pull me in because it's not talking to me directly. It's not talking to me as an individual. Here's another website. When you look at this, what's your feeling? Does this feel professional? Does it feel unprofessional? Does it feel like it's going to take something? Do you trust it? This one has a certain professional quality to it. Okay, obviously designed by someone that was paying attention to the details and so forth. But also there's kind of a lot going on. Okay, there are a lot of different elements that are pulling my eye. Obviously, right in the center there, kind of up higher, there's the picture of Jill. So you want to look at her, and she's smiling. But then you don't know where to go next because you started in the middle. Do you look over to the right where it says Win an iPad, or do you look up at the top that says Complex Family Foundation? Where do you go? What do you do? Okay, so this isn't organized into a nice, simple hierarchy from dominant element, secondary element, to each of the elements below. Here's another one. Okay, so what's the first thing you look at? Well, you look at this strapping gentleman who is probably named Chris Jameson, and it's got his name there, and it looks really super cool and science fiction, and it says Bridging the Gap in Network Marketing. But, I would ask, if, let's say, I'm someone who needs the gap bridged in network marketing, is a picture of Chris and, the fancy graphics, is that going to be the thing that's going to make me believe that this is where the gap gets bridged? I don't know so much about that. I might try to get rid of all that stuff or put it over on the side and have a big, bold headline that promises a self-serving benefit to my prospective customer, and then get that opt-in box up somewhere where I can see it. And instead of it saying subscribe now to Chris's newsletter, I would have it say, opt in here to get some really cool free stuff. All right, so take a look at this website. When you first look at this, how do you feel? Do you feel trust? Do you feel like this is going to offer you something of value? Is it intuitive where to start? So what you'll notice is the top of the website that says control your fibromyalgia and the symptoms to solutions in the picture, it doesn't seem to be connected to the rest of the website. They're two completely different designs with different fonts, different colors, totally different design aesthetics. And that is a little bit jarring. Also, we've got the picture at the top and the banner, and then we've got the video over on the right. And the headline is kind of small, so you don't really know where to go first. It's not intuitive. This is not horrible, but it could definitely do better by clearly breaking this into dominant visual element, secondary visual element, and on and on. And then how about this design? A successful garden design. Create a fantastic garden the whole neighborhood will envy. It's easier than you think. This is a very nice design. Very simple, kind of a couple of main colors, nice big bold headline. This one really works for me. Even the successful garden design logo up in the top, it's small enough and unobtrusive enough, and it adds a little touch of professionalism. Really makes it work. And nice headline. Create a fantastic garden the whole neighborhood will envy. It's easier than you think. 7-step formula to create stunning gardens. Okay, really nice design. We could all learn a lot by just looking at simple designs like this and following them. Okay, so that wraps up our design session. Okay, so what you're going to want to do right now is take a moment to look through your own designs, your own website, any layouts you have, and ask yourself, how can you simplify them? How can you take out anything that's confusing? How can you put in a dominant visual element, secondary visual element, 1 to 2 fonts, 1 to 2 colors, 1 to 2 alignments? In other words, simplify everything. Simplify, 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 so that it is perfectly intuitive even for a child to look at. So take the tips you've learned in this section, go and work on your designs, and I will see you in the next session of Marketing Step by Step.